Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to my Fallout 4 Let's Play series. With the rising popularity of the Fallout TV series, I thought what better time to jump back into the Commonwealth than now, when everybody is excited and everybody is pumped up for the new TV series, which is coming back. If you haven't seen it already, you need to go see it. I will refrain the best I can from any spoilers. But let's jump right into our playthrough. As you can see, I do not have any saved content right now. This is on the computer. I have plenty of hours into it on the Xbox. But we're going to go ahead and start a new game here. And our first objective for this first episode is to get to our first friendly faces. I'm not going to spoil too much for those of you who have not played Fallout 4. If you haven't already, I'm surprised. It's been out for a while, but it is a fantastic play and I would highly encourage you do so. Hopefully if you enjoy yourself here, it'll give you a little bit of motivation to go play yourself. But my hot take on this game is to ignore all of the criticism because it is fabulous. It is amazing. There are some things that are annoying, yes, but I don't think it is altogether a bad game.
War. War never changes. In the year 1945, my great-great-grandfather, serving in the army, wondered when he'd get to go home to his wife and the son he'd never seen. He got his wish when the U.S. ended World War II by dropping atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The world awaited Armageddon. Instead, something miraculous happened. We began to use atomic energy not as a weapon, but as a nearly limitless source of power. People enjoyed luxuries once thought the realm of science fiction. Domestic robots, fusion-powered cars, portable computers. But then, in the 21st century, people awoke from the American dream. Years of consumption led to shortages of every major resource. The entire world unraveled. Peace became a distant memory. It is now the year 2077. We stand on the brink of total war. And I am afraid. For myself, for my wife, for my infant son. Because if my time in the army taught me one thing, it's that war never changes.
So there you have your intro cutscene. Does a really great job of kind of giving you an idea of what the Fallout world is. The other games in the series didn't really give you a good idea of a brief backstory, and it is very brief. But yes, this takes place in an alternate universe in which we stopped using nuclear fission for weapons, but rather resources. But of course that led to plenty of resource scarcity, and we get the Fallout post-apocalyptic world that you know from the mainstream. Plenty of years of that, all the different countries dropping nuclear weapons and war and all kinds of death, devastation, famine, you name it. That's what led to the Fallout world. I love the intro and the character creation of Fallout 4. We're waking up for our morning routine, and we get to just right off rip choose what kind of character we want to see and use. We'll start off with this guy here, and you're gonna have to bear with me because I am not super familiar with controls on PC, but we're getting there. I want my hair over here. See, this is the apocalypse, so we're gonna have to go with a rugged look, I feel like. The mutton chops would be pretty nice, though.
I wasn't sure, but I like the beard.
Skin tone definitely gonna be burnt. Yeah, I feel like. I'm just gonna end it there. Character creation. I could spend plenty of time in this. I have spent plenty of time in this, and I just don't think it's necessary. You're not going to see a whole lot of your character anyways. But going back to lore of Fallout, a lot of people have always asked who are not really in this world why we always have that 60s aesthetic, and that brief video at the intro kind of gives you an idea of that. This alternate universe in which we started using nuclear fission as power instead of weaponry kind of left us stuck in that aesthetic of what we knew in the 60s, the 50s and 60s. So that's why you kind of always get that vibe from the Fallout games. I particularly enjoy that vibe. I think it's great. Adds a lot of life and characteristic instead of what we know in the modern world. Really immerses you into this new world and makes you step outside of real life.
Codsworth.
Enjoy your coffee, sir.
Dr. Codsworth, our little butler buddy, made us some coffee.
Grognak the Barbarian in the Jungle of the Bat Babies. It's my favorite.
Oh, sounds like someone made a sticky. I shall attend to young Shaw.
You know, I was nervous at first, but Codsworth's really good with Sean.
We're about to have a little visitor come down to our door. I've actually never tested to see. I can. That's great.
Nuka-Cola.
Can you get
Ice
that?
cold.
It's probably that salesman. He comes for you every day.
Salesman. We're not interested in extended warranties.
Vault-Tec calling.
Vault-Tec? Remind me again?
Why, we're about you, sir, and helping secure your future. You see, Vault-Tec is the foremost builder of state-of-the-art underground fallout shelters. Vaults, if you will. Luxury accommodations where you can wait out the horrors of nuclear devastation. You can't begin to know how happy I am to finally speak with you. I've been trying for days. It's a matter of utmost urgency, I assure you.
What's so important?
Why, nothing less than your entire future. If you haven't noticed,
He's a really good
this
salesman.
country has gone to hell
Nothing
in a
less than your
handbasket.
entire future.
If you'll excuse my language, the big kaboom is... it's inevitable, I'm afraid. And coming sooner than you may think, if you catch my meaning. Now, I know you're a busy fellow, so I won't take up much of your time. Time being a precious commodity. I'm here today to tell you that because of your family service to our country, you have been pre-selected for entrance into the local vault. Vault 111.
But there's room for my entire family, right?
Of course, of course. Minus your robot, naturally. In fact, you're already cleared for entrance. It's just a matter of verifying some information. Don't want there to be any holdups in the unforeseen event of total atomic annihilation. Won't take but a moment.
Sure, let's do it.
Splendid! Splendid. Now, let's see.
Okay, I didn't want to talk too much in the dialogue again for those of you who may not have played before. This is what Fallout refers to as your special stats. Cliche, I know, but this is what makes you special. We're going to be able to name our character here, and we're going to be able to pick between some stat points, and each one of them will give you a brief description, kind of giving you a lay of the land of what to expect from these particular special stats. Now, it is important to note you will not be able to max out every special stat unless we do a little bit of an exploit. There is an exploit that can be done to max them all out, but it is not considered base game. It is not supposed to be such that you can max all of these out. Strength is going to be based on melee damage and the ability to carry things. Perception is going to be your accuracy in VATS, as you can see at the bottom here. Your endurance is going to be how much action points we have. Action points are your ability to sprint, or the amount of shots or hits you can successfully take, or rather deal in your VATS, which is an enhanced targeting system. We'll see that a little bit later on. Your charisma is going to be a very important one as you play through the game. You're going to have a lot of NPCs that you will deal with. There are going to be a lot of situations where you have to make decisions. Charisma helps you pass what's called speech checks. This means that if you are to want to lie your way out of something, or convince somebody to do something, or even rather get better pricing at vendors throughout your time in game, your charisma is going to be the number one factor to successfully do any of that. Intelligence is going to be how quickly you level up, as well as your just mental acuity. They don't really go too much more into it, but for the most basic thing that you need to know is you're going to gain more XP the higher your intelligence. Now, going back to charisma with speech checks, high intelligence can sometimes benefit you in certain speech checks with certain characters as well. Certain characters will actually pick up on the fact that you have a high intellect, and that will benefit you. Whereas other characters may pick up on a high intellect, and it may negatively impact your ability to create any sort of relationship with that character. Agility is going to be, again, number of action points in VATS, but more importantly, your ability to sneak or pickpocket in the game. Higher agility means you're going to be able to sneak around enemies without detection a little bit easier, as well as pickpocket those enemies a little bit easier. Luck has changed from time to time in Fallout games. There's really not a huge benefit to luck in Fallout 4. Previous games, luck would actually give you a huge benefit, as it would help you actually get lucky when you're scounging around the Fallout world and getting items. You would get higher valued items, or a lot more of certain items and containers. In Fallout 4, they changed this a little bit, and now it more affects the recharge rate of critical hits, as you can see here. If you are using the enhanced targeting system in this game known as VATS often, a high luck stat is actually going to benefit you very, very well. I personally don't. I do use VATS from time to time. I don't find myself using it as much as I would in a game like Fallout 76, which caters to more of an online live service game, which will dabble in that in other series. So for now, I'm going to just give us a little bit of base strength, because I want to make sure we can carry all of the loot that we're going to be finding. I do like to have a decent amount of intelligence and charisma as well. These three I always want at about 5 because that's about midway through. The rest, I don't really have any super big preferences, but I do find that those three will be most players' easiest time starting out in the game, so that way they're not going to have a hard time playing. That being said, if we're going to have any modicum of accuracy, I'm going to do a little bit into perception. I would also like to have a little bit of action points so we can sprint just a little bit longer. Luck, again, not a necessity, but we'll do a little bit of it in case we do need that extra damage for a critical hit. And the last point that we have can really go in anywhere, but I'm going to boost our intelligence. Again, higher XP amounts coming in means we're going to level up faster. We're going to be able to use higher level gear faster and get all of our perks added into our character faster as well. So I think that's what we're going to do here. And then, of course, we need a name. So we're going to go with... I was going to do definitely diverse, but I think we're going to go with Jeff. I feel like Jeff is an acceptable answer. My name's Jeff. Still my favorite line in many, many different movies. And that's it.
Wonderful. That's everything. Just gonna walk this over to the vault. Congratulations on being prepared for the future.
Thanks again.
Hey, it's peace of mind. That's worth a little paperwork, right?
For you and Sean, no price is too high.
Good answer.
I have my moments.
Mr. Jeff, Sean has been changed, but he absolutely refuses to calm down. I think he needs some of that paternal affection. Seem to be so good at.
So another fun thing about this game is at that very intro cutscene where we're creating our character, you can actually toss between gender of your character. So you can choose to play a male or a female, and you can customize both characters. But the fun thing that I like about this game is that they did pay attention to those details, because if you customize both characters and then you ultimately choose whichever gender you choose, the customizations actually stay with the other gender that you did not choose. So your significant other or spouse will look identical to what you chose them to look like, which is really fun. Speaking of my spouse.
Hun.
I'll be there in a minute. Go ahead. How are the two most important men in my life doing? Spin the mobile a bit. He loves that.
Ah, little baby Sean.
How's my little guy? Much better now, huh? Listen, after breakfast, I was thinking we could head to the park for a bit. Weather should hold up.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Sir, Mum, you should come and see this.
Codsworth, what's wrong?
What were we looking at? Nora, there, that's a wall.
Followed by yes, followed by flashes, blinding flashes, sounds of explosions. We're trying to get confirmation.
What?
We seem to have lost
did
contact
he
with our
say?
affiliate stations.
Oh,
We
no.
do have coming in. That's confirmed reports. I repeat, confirmed reports of nuclear detonations in New York and Pennsylvania. My God.
Oh my god.
We need to get to the vault. Now!
I've got Sean.
Alright, now that we don't have any dialogue, another key point that I would like to point out for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Fallout world. Vault-Tec is not our friend by any stretch of the imagination. Vault-Tec, I apologize, Vault-Tec is probably one of the most corrupt organizations who really don't have anybody's best interest in mind other than their own pocketbooks. These vaults that are all spread throughout the world of Fallout are actually just really messed up experimentation vaults. So 111, which you heard this Vault-Tec representative state that we got access to, which he clearly does not, is a vault that is meant to test what effects cryostasis have on human subjects, which you'll see here soon.
Thank you.
There are many other vaults. There have been vaults in which Vault-Tec put 99 females and 1 male to test to see what sort of social interactions would happen in a case like that, and vice versa, where there were 99 males and 1 female. There have been vaults that were specifically made to fail in the event of nuclear detonation to see what the effects of high-level radiation on human beings would be. There are plenty of other cases. If you're ever interested, there are plenty of videos you can find to find out all of the different messed up experiments that Vault-Tec has done with all of these vaults. But in our case, as our character is experiencing Vault 111, we are the test subjects to find out what cryostasis effects have long-term on the human body and brain.
We did it. We made it. We're okay.
Everyone please step off the elevator and proceed up the stairs in an orderly fashion.
No need to worry, folks. We'll get everyone situated in your new home. Vault 111. A better future underground.
So we just...
Yes, up the stairs.
I can't believe it. If we left a minute later.
No,
We don't
get caught up thinking about that.
Everybody's
You're
just
safe
gonna
now.
go file
Everyone,
in,
just
and
head up these stairs
we're
and
gonna
through
get
the
our
door
jumpsuits
there.
on. I don't think they have one little baby Sean size, but that's okay.
Just this
Male.
way.
This one's good.
Step over to the table and take a seat.
Whoa, guys, calm down. We're all gonna have a jumpsuit, just like that guy. You
Here
don't
you
have to
are.
cut in line.
Head down the hall there.
Hey, hon.
It's gonna be okay, right?
I sure hope so, Nora.
Levels are good.
Alright, I'm gonna sneak by you since you decided you're gonna sneak by me.
Before we can take you
Thanks. What now?
Go.
Just follow the doctor here. He'll show you where to go.
All right, you three. Follow me.
See? This is our new home.
Oh, you're gonna love it here.
Take a
This
walk
is one of our most
down the
advanced
hall.
facilities. Not that the others aren't great, mind you. It's gone. Our home. Everything we had.
Sir,
My mother and father down in D.C. God, honey,
How long do you think we'll be down here?
Oh, we'll be
Forever.
going over all that in orientation. Just a few medical items we have to get through first.
Just checking everyone off the
The
list.
beginning of the end. Right here.
Prepared for the future, right?
Such a lovely family you have. I hope you'll see this as your new home.
Just step in here and put your vault suit on.
Alright, so we're gonna put on our nice little Vault 111 blue jumpsuit. For those of you familiar with at least the TV series and its growing popularity, I'm sure you'll recognize the jumpsuits. It's kind of Vault-Tec's thing.
Time for a whole new life.
Resident secure.
The curious part to me has always been why we're allowing an infant child in a cryostasis. Nobody thought to ask questions here. I would have all the questions in the world, especially if it was my child.
3, 2, 1. Manual override initiated. Cryogenic stasis. Suspend.
And now we get introduced to the nightmare that is the Fallout world for our character, Jeff.
Open it. Almost. Everything's gonna be fine. Let the boy go. I'm only gonna tell you once. Get out of here. Let's go.
This dude has to have eardrums of absolute steel to not be completely deaf right now. This is an enclosed chamber, and he just fired a very high caliber revolver. We're gonna ignore that fact too, though. We're just gonna keep going. He's the main villain, so of course he's got superpowers. Everybody knows plot armor exists. Out we go, mysteriously and miraculously. We are the only ones who are out. Careful there, Jeff. We've got sea legs. We don't know how long we've been asleep.
Come on! There has to be a release! Come on, come on, come on! Oh, God! I'll find who did this, and I'll get Sean back. I promise.
So, Nora is no more, unfortunately, just like all of these other poor saps. Nobody quite made it out. We are the sole survivor. And now we must venture our way out into what is left of the world. You can do a little bit of exploration in the early game here in the vaults. I'm just going to take a little bit of items to try and get a little bit of junk in your Fallout Adventures. Junk items are going to be the way you craft things, because the world is not like we remember it. We've got creatures that, as you just saw here, are much larger than normal, and we don't really have the same luxuries of manufacturing, so to speak, that we used to. Now, in the world of Fallout, security terminals are going to be your best friend. You're going to learn a lot about your lore in these security terminals. Security logs, operations protocols, you know, every single tab that you can go into, you're going to learn a lot about what these vaults were. Sometimes you'll get overseer logs. Overseers are the people who oversaw the operations of the vault. You'll be able to see communications from Vault Tech in these terminals. Vault 111 particularly had a uprising of security personnel that did not agree with Vault Tech. So they essentially mounted a mutiny against the Overseer, which you can find the Overseer's dead body here, and you'll be able to see just what they did to him. They believed that it was safe to come out. They did not get the all clear from Vault Tech, so the Overseer did not want everybody to leave because he was waiting on the all clear. It didn't work out for him. Mutiny was successful, and he is no more, as we will see here soon. We're gonna avoid the electricity. I don't feel like getting zapped today. These pesky little roaches are already enough to deal with. Now, Jeff finally gets to realize we have been down here a long time. That body is a skeleton. But that means that Vault Tech was successful, and cryostasis is very, very effective. We're going to go ahead and get our first ranged weapon here. Take a look at our Voltech Doctor here, who is also no more. Now, we don't have the ability to get this weapon yet, but later in our travels through the world of Fallout 4, we will definitely want to come back for the Cryolator. It is an incredibly fun weapon, and we definitely will want to come back for it. But for now, we're just going to take some more ammunition. We're going to keep looking in our containers that we can find and see what kind of loot may be available to help us in our survival journey coming up.
Terminal somewhere.
So, we gotta go over to the terminal. Overseer's terminal specifically. In here you'll see notes on the Cryolator and what it is, the lore behind it. But for now we're going to open our evacuation tunnel. You'll also have the Overseer's logs, and those Overseer logs will actually go into depth detail of the mutiny and the day in the life of what the Overseer was going through and the reports that he had to Voltech. Looks like we've got yet another group of rad roaches. That little guy did not want to go down. There we go. Gonna go ahead and reload here. I should have used VATS so we can get a good introduction to you guys to VATS, but I did not. I apologize. It will not be the last enemy we come across though, so here we can see VATS. Now VATS will let us target individual limbs, and the number correlated to that individual limb will let you know just exactly how accurate that shot is. So you can see that our highest accuracy is in the torso, which makes sense. It's a bigger part of the body. And then we can also, if we had other targets, cycle between targets. If there are multiple enemies in front of us, we can individually select the amount of times we want to try and attack a certain target and cycle to another target if necessary. That way, if you would like to slow one down by crippling their limb, you can do so and then move to another target so that you can take them out. For now, I'm just going to accept the one shot to the torso. It killed the enemy, so we got our nice, cool, slow motion activation there. Grab some more ammo over here and see. Yes, there is more ammo in containers. Ammunition is going to be key to our survival.
Where is everyone?
And now we're going to grab our first Pip-Boy. I am apparently in combat because I don't know where this guy came from, but this Radroach did not want to let his boy go out like that. So he came to avenge, and he did not succeed. The Pip-Boy, this is a portable computer, very similar to that you saw in the opening cutscene. Except the opening cutscene was Voltech's Pip-Boy prototype. Obviously you can see this one's a lot smaller. This is a more refined variation of the Pip-Boy, but this is also going to be your best friend and your lifeblood throughout the game. Your status will tell you with your little Pip-Boy, Volt-Boy animation. If you're crippled, it will tell you these things. Your character, if he is crippled, will be on crutches. You will see that your leg looks broken. That is an indicator that you need to use a stim pack, which you can see at the bottom here. Stim packs are effectively your health point regeneration method. You can also regen that with food, but stim packs will take away all crippled status effects to your character. Very nice to have. Special points, these are what we applied at the very beginning of the game. These can be increased by food products, by drugs in the game, and many other sources. So these would be good for you to keep an eye on. Perks, we're not quite there yet, but we can look at our perk chart Each special attribute has their own little line of perks we can go into. The higher your special stat, the more unlocks happen. For now, we don't really have a whole lot, but as we play through, we'll have a lot of different choices and a lot of different options to go into and figure out just how we want to traverse the landscape of Fallout 4. Our inventory tab, very self-explanatory. We have our weapons, we have our apparel. These are just clothing items, and armor as well. We have our aid, which is stim packs, drugs of all kinds. Miscellaneous items kind of appear here. There's a multitude of hodgepodge that can appear here. This menu will drastically increase as we play the game. Junk items. These are the items you saw me picking up as if I were a pack rat. Because in Fallout you are a pack rat. Junk items are your best friend. If we hover over one in the bottom here, we can see what kind of scrap items and junk will be produced when we scrap these items. Wood and steel in the instance of this ball peen hammer. All of these things are used to craft and upgrade items throughout your journeys, so being a pack rat is very, very, very handy, and just about the only time you can get away with saying, I have too much stuff that I know what to do with, but I actually do have a use for all of it, unlike in life. Mods will be for your weapons and armor. Throughout your journeys, you may find mods that you can apply to your weapons that will just help you get extra abilities or extra stats to those weapons. Ammo is self-explanatory. Depending on what weapon you are using, will depend on what kind of ammunition you need. Data will tell us our quests. If we have workshops, which we'll find later in the game, it will tell us those workshops. And then, of course, we have our stats. These are things that will accrue as we're playing. The more we craft, the more we're in combat, the more we do quests, so on and so forth. Crime is another one. As we are pickpocketing people or killing people, Fallout does have a very heavy emphasis on freedom in all of their games, so it is nice to have these statistics because you can kind of tell where your character is. Once upon a time, there was more emphasis on what's called the karma system. The more bad things you do, the harder the game becomes for you, and vice versa. The more good you do, the easier the game becomes for you. So this is the devolvement, I guess you could say, of the karma system in Fallout 4. The map, of course, is our map of the world. We start all the way up here, and there is so much to explore throughout what is known as the Commonwealth in Fallout 4. And then, of course, we have our radio stations, which are a must anytime we are playing the game. It's just fun to have. So, that is the Pip-Boy in its brief overview. We're going to go ahead and use our little Pip-Boy here to open the vault, or attempt to open the vault, so that we can see just how messed up and deranged the world is compared to what Jeff once knew. Always best to have a weapon ready. Who knows what may happen? Just like it was yesterday, we're going back up the elevator in which we came down. Jeff only wishes that this was a nightmare. Little did he know, it's absolutely a nightmare, but it's only the beginning. This is the point in the game where it will give you the ability to change your special attributes if you choose to. It will give you the ability to change your appearance and your name. If you are not content with the way your character looks, feels, or plays, now is the time to correct that. I encourage anyone and everyone who is very new to the series to do a little bit of looking into, so that way you have a general idea of the kind of play style that you're going to do, what perks will be associated with those. I am not too terribly unfamiliar with the Fallout world, so I don't need to do any of that, so I'm going to go ahead and finish and exit the vault so that we can continue along our adventure.
Enjoy your return to the surface, and thank
As
you
much
for
as I
your
wanted to get to
Vault-Tec.
our first friendly faces in the first episode, I think that we're going to get outside, get a breath of fresh air, and end our first episode here. And in episode 2, we will make our journey to our first friendly faces of the Commonwealth and find out just how different things are compared to what we knew. And here we are. Our first quest completed, and our first quest started. In the top left here is where you're going to see a lot of different information pop up. New quests, new things like that. This is the Game of the Year edition of Fallout 4, so I do have actually quite a bit of DLC content that's going to immediately start as you come out of the vault. That's just something you'll have to get used to. If you don't have the DLCs, you won't see a lot of that popping up. If you do have the DLCs, you'll see a lot of that popping up. You don't have to dabble into everything all at once. In fact, I encourage you not to. I encourage you to play through your base game first and then get into your DLC content. Familiarize yourself with the controls. Familiarize yourself with the way the Fallout world works before we dive into content like that. Not to mention, I do believe a lot of the DLCs, if I'm not mistaken, actually all, are going to be level locked anyways, so don't focus on all the information they're throwing at you right away. But as we end this episode, some good things to do would be come around and look in all of these crates to grab yourself some more junk, some Radaway and Rad-X, which we will go into at a later time, but kind of just do a general scouring to get yourself some medical supplies and any supplies that they left behind in their rush to get away from the bombs as they were dropping. Until episode 2, enjoy your night, my friends. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm doing my best not to spoil too much for you guys, especially for those who may not have played this game yet. I want this to be a fresh experience and a fun experience for you, and we will see you in the next episode.